long time since we've seen them, but it seems like Jason's taken up smoking.
Have I?
Well, just to hear your voice, you seem like grovelly. And
really? I'm just doing some singing on the side. Okay. Yes.
He is.
Fulfilling that lifetime dream of being a worship minister.
I'm a worship leader, yes.
So this is not Dungeons and Dragons. This is Veiled Fate. Is that how you would say it?
Make It Metal Edition.
Yeah, this is the Make It Metal Edition. So
what is this
sponsor? It's a sponsor.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's a great game.
Yeah, it's a sponsor of ours. You have there are 9 characters. Oh my gosh, I'm so.
I have God powers, by the way, in front of me. That's
Yeah,
what it says.
Pentha,
God powers. All powers cost one action.
Agamar, Clar,
Aponi.
Segarai,
Yep.
Namurai,
Namiri, I would say. Naka. Balan.
It says I can discover old
Isabel.
magic.
Yeah, so I mean, I would probably go with Clar, Klar.
I like Naka. Just feels, I don't know, good for me.
Yeah,
Isabel sounds so sweet and
yeah.
fun, but looks terrifying.
yeah.
You know how to play?
No,
Oh, okay.
but we don't want to interrupt their game. Here,
No.
these guys. All right. We do have Jason and Jamie back. So on previous episodes, we've discussed the Enneagram.
That's right.
Yep. And then we discussed the primal questions.
Yes.
Primal questions. They still email me about the primal questions. Thank
Do you ever
guys.
read any of them,
Thank
though?
you guys.
They're pretty
Who,
helpful.
Mike Foster?
Yeah.
Yep. Mike's always emailing.
He's a big emailer. He's a big emailer.
Yeah.
But some of them are pretty helpful if you want to take up coaching or counseling.
Okay. Got it.
Josh, like, I'm good.
And I'm going to get emails from this too, so it's
So are
exciting.
you trying to get your results?
I'm
here?
trying to log back in and get these results.
You don't remember them?
I bet you I can tell you yours.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I think that even if listeners have never taken the test, you can kind of figure out your primary voice
Should
pretty fast.
listeners take it or just listen and
Take test.
self-discover?
It's not long. It's not
So
bad.
we'll put that in the show notes, I guess. I don't even know. Do we have show notes? I've just heard people on other podcasts say that.
Hey, John, please show notes, please. Thank you, John. There's no John.
Or my daughter, she says, click the link below.
Well, like and subscribe.
Like
Yeah.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
My kids aren't online. We only read books all day.
Yeah.
And do wooden puzzles.
After they pray as a family for 12 hours.
You don't want them to have that the plastics.
Because it gets into the fibers.
Wooden toys.
Yeah, wooden toys. With they're only white and black because there's no dye in your house, right? Is that what we're doing?
If you're a crunchy person, we do love you.
Yeah.
We do love you.
But we're going to call you crunchy, which is not a term of
bad term,
endearment.
crunchy? I think that's the call themselves crunchy, right?
You think they would call themselves that? I think they would call themselves like environmentally friendly or something. I think crunchy is the
I would
derogatory.
say culturally fringe. Oh, wait, is that right? No. Okay.
Okay. We would know that. Keep going. Oh, Lord.
Look, we're all just trying to figure it out.
That's life for all of us. And so
For all of us. So yeah, while you're logging in, I'll introduce
Please
our
do.
guest. So
Please do.
Jason, pastor at Covenant Church, and a pastoral counselor. Is that what you would
That's
define?
right, yeah, that's the official title,
Actually,
yes.
in the building we're in. Plant
yes,
Campuses.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So then Jamie is.
That's all you're gonna do.
Well,
I just thought like some personal words. Go ahead, Jamie. Because that's not
Jason.
Former Southwood High basketball legend.
Oh, yeah, well, third team all district.
That's right. That's right. I see you struggle out.
You were 13?
13.
His
a sophomore year,
which
went
means
downhill from there.
He didn't get his
I
last
should have
year.
retired then on
Now
top.
that's possible.
Yeah.
Politics.
Amazing.
I said crunchy back in the day, and those coaches are all crunchy, and they voted me down.
Your coach was definitely crunchy.
He was actually.
So, Jamie, let's see. What's your title at the church? I don't know. You are
I
staff at the
lead
church?
I lead missions, and then I just
Yeah,
do
okay.
whatever I'm told.
I like missions coordinator better than I lead missions personally. I don't know why I did like this. Missions
coordinator.
Missions coordinator.
Yes.
Missions director.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of old. Missions
Then,
coordinator.
and then she has a little side thing where she goes to places
Leadership
and
coach.
talks about this. Leadership
Yes.
coach.
Yeah.
Uses these tools. Josh is in. Uses these tools for like the Enneagram primal questions, and what we're talking about today, the 5 voices. So if it's not on the show notes, what was that website to go take that quiz?
Giant.
Giant.com.
Yeah. I don't know.
You can just type in 5 voices assessment and it'll come up. But
Came
it's
up pretty
on
quick for
Giant.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? What's that?
It says giantos.com. GIANTOS.com.
Okay. Not toes like your toes.
Nope, TOS.
Okay.
Giantos.
Oh,
Sounds foreign.
It's the weekend of Montego.
Welcome back, guys. It's been
Thank you.
Can we talk about F1?
Please. That's always what I want to talk
love
about.
to.
Do a special.
Love to.
Jason, he's always been a car guy. You know?
Yeah.
Gearhead. That's what they call me back in high school. Hey, Geary, come here.
That's why you're so good at oil changes and taking care of vehicles.
Yeah, you take the oil change. They've changed the oil for you.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
You don't have to get out of the car now. It's great.
It's a lot, though.
Yes, you got to do it before summer and then after summer. Don't get stuck in the middle where it's like oil change is due and it's July.
Yeah,
It
you're
is
sitting
hot.
there, the air's
You're
off
baking in
97
that metal.
degrees.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's a tough life for us.
Yes. All right. So
I'm
we
sorry.
need to dig in. No, we're good. Let's see. You have a timer going?
I do.
Yeah. And we have we still have plenty of time.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Plenty of time,
Here to
guys.
talk about the 5 voices.
Yeah.
What are the 5 voices? I'm so lost.
It's another leadership tool that businesses, churches use to help understand who you are as a leader, who your staff is, and how they lead, how they perceive things, how they see the world. It's this whole concept in order to lead others, you have to lead yourself. And to lead yourself, you have to know yourself. And this is another one of those tools that help you do that. I like this one because it's very simple. And it's maybe the best one for teams that we've talked about. Would you agree with that, Jamie?
Agreed. Yeah, it definitely is. But it goes beyond business. I mean, it really can lead to healthier marriages, healthier relationships. I had somebody tell me after doing a business talk that if they would have heard this, they probably would have still been in their first marriage instead of their next marriage. So
when I think of voices, so is this talking about how you communicate or how you receive communication?
both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I purposely did not do any studying on this because I want to be a student for the next hour.
Okay.
And ask questions.
Okay.
But I have taken the assessment because the church told me to.
Yeah.
And I never got the results. And so until I got the results now.
Okay.
But I don't know what the results are. I just know me and Jamie are the same, which is funny because we are pretty opposite on all the other tests that we would do, right? On Enneagram, we're definitely not the same.
Yeah.
But we are on this one. So where do we start from it? What do we say?
How does it break
do you
down?
enjoy doing this kind of stuff, Josh?
Yeah, generally speaking, I do. I think I'm naturally inclined to try to pull it apart a little bit, and try to just kind of pick at it and kind of see, all these things are good. Like Myers-Briggs is good. Enneagram is good. All these things are good for knowing yourself in a higher degree. I think all of them too can force you into, like when you're taking these tests, sometimes the questions are written in a way that's a binary that might not be a binary. Right? Because you have to say yes or no. I love being in a group of people. I hate being in a group of people. Sometimes the answer is not always like strongly agree or, you know what I mean?
In the middle somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think you'll like this one because it's not that you only have one of these voices. Everyone has all 5 voices. It's the order of your voices. And so whenever we go through these, there will be something in all of them that you're like, oh yeah, I do that. I do that. And so that's why taking the test is helpful because it helps you, really isolate that primary voice. Cause that's what it all boils down to is that primary voice, but your voice order matters. And that's why it's interesting that me and Leighton have the same voice order because it's pretty rare that you have the same ones in the same order as somebody else.
Yeah. I think that's this type of stuff helps me, and this is we're a business podcast, but this is helpful to know your team's voices or Enneagram, right, and leading them. And so there are definitely different conversations or ways I approach conversations and topics with different employees based off of this type of stuff.
Well, and it really helps with the hiring practices. I just did some training at a local business that has 5 different locations, and they only have one creative in all 5 locations. And so we were able to talk about that and talk about, maybe the next person they hire, if that would be helpful to add a creative to the mix of their business.
Yeah, I think we talked about Josh. I feel these tests, sometimes people are individuals, and we try to box them into one of 5 categories. It feels like, well, we're much more unique than that. And I agree with that. It's a general tool to kind of maybe be a shorthand to understand people a little bit. And so I'm not surprised that y'all are the same, though, with y'all's voices. And so I could definitely see that.
Cool.
Well, Laurie says that, she's always found that she loves people who are more like Leighton.
Well, that's good. She married you. So that's a healthy thing. Yeah.
Yes. That's good.
Yes.
And listen, I don't come to this like a huge skeptic or anything. I think what I'm saying is that it seems like all of these tests are informative.
Yes.
In different ways. And you have to just know, like, am I pulling out the screwdriver? Am I pulling out the hammer? Am I pulling out the saw? What am I reaching for? Mm-hmm. And when is one of these more applicable or helpful than another? That part I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Enneagram is about motivations, like what motivates you to do what you're doing. And then whenever you talk about the primal questions, that's like, what is all the junk that has happened to you in your life that makes you react the way you do? Mm-hmm. And then, 5 voices really about how do you come across to other people and how do you receive the way people talk to you? So that's kind of the big differences between them.
Do y'all want to put your headphones on, or you don't have to? It just helps, maybe.
It makes me feel cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Hang on, guys. John, thanks.
Jason, if you want to turn those around the other way, that wire will be on that side.
Nailed that one.
I feel like I'm back in a pilot's thing.
My mic
dad.
is still lower, isn't it? Or is it just
no?
me?
It's good.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay.
Let's hear Leighton's voice. I'm hearing it, but I'd like to know about it. What is Leighton's
my voice?
I thought he was going to sing.
Hey, it's also interesting. This week I had one of my key managers do the 5 voices, and he gave it to me yesterday. Mm-hmm. It's like perfect timing. We can pick this apart.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about all the stuff I can't.
You do his first?
I don't know.
Do you want to understand how it works?
Let's go through all 5. Maybe give me a quick description of the 5 different voices.
All right. Well, the first one here is nurturer.
Is that your favorite one, or why do you start with it?
Well, it is his favorite because it's him.
Yes.
Okay.
I am a nurturer. This is most of the population. 43% of people, their primary voice is nurturer. This is the person, you need this person on your team because they are going to help care for others. They're going to feel and see things that other voices are not going to do. They are... they're the oil change of the business. They keep things going in a healthy way.
What are they on the Titanic? Which?
They're probably the ones playing the music.
Okay.
I would assume, like trying to comfort others as it's going down.
Yes, because they're not going to do anything.
What is that? That felt very personal.
Oh, you mean they're not going to help and get the lifeboats untied or anything, or
that could be part of their thing. They wouldn't initiate it though. So I tell them, "Hey, go do that." Oh, I'd love to. And so,
put down the violin, save a human.
The violin was necessary though. People were dying.
Yeah, it made them feel better.
Yes. Yeah, made them feel better. That's very nurturing.
So you said that this is the most popular. 43% of the population have this as the number one.
Right. Okay. And so this is my primary voice, and I definitely can see that in my voice.
Okay.
How does that play out on our team, Jamie?
So they really are kind of the oil that holds everything together, that keeps those squeaky wheels a little calm. They are definitely the one to provide the encouragement. He knows all the things about all the people. So if he gets mad at us, he could like spill all the beans because he's who everybody goes to. Yeah. So one of the things we'll have to talk about at some point, if you want to, is the weapon system. So every voice has a weapon system. And it is what you do whenever you feel triggered. And so y'all can decide if and when we get into those. But here's the big way that nurturers play out on a team. If you notice with the voices, if your listeners want to look up this graphic, it's readily available. But you see how they have like the little volume controls. So the nurturer has this quietest voice, right? They're the least likely to talk, and typically actually a quiet voice. But if you go all the way to the pioneer,
I thought they had the worst cell phone signal.
No, that is what it looks like. It does look like a cell phone.
It's singular wireless.
But then you go all the way up to the pioneer, and you see the pioneer is at max volume, and then it's got the little red dot because it can go. It definitely comes out in a red. Yes, so the way that a nurturer plays out on a team, and what I always encourage businesses is because the nurturer has the quietest voice, because they're the violin player on the Titanic, they are not going to come out and voice their opinion very readily. And so one of our rules in staff, whenever we are trying to make a big decision, is that nurturers talk first. And so you let the nurturer speak first, because if the loudest voices are a connector and a pioneer. And so if a connector and a pioneer share their opinion first, a nurturer is never going to talk because they don't want to go against them. And so if you really want to hear the opinions of the people on your team, you always want to say nurturers speak first, and then you go in voice order, and pioneers have to speak last. And that is hard for a pioneer to stay quiet that long.
Whoa.
But
it's getting real.
Because that nurturer does have great insight.
Absolutely.
Actually, some of the best insight because they know the team the best. And to let them speak up. And the nurturer loves to be in the background. They have no problem being in the background. But it doesn't mean they have nothing to say. Yeah. It just means that's their voice.
And sometimes when I say that to teams, I see the nurturers in the room, their eyes get really big because they're like, I don't want to talk first. But the reason it's helpful to kind of push that is because they really do have some of the best insight. And you need to kind of force them to the table.
I like it. And, Jason, I would say a lot of this does correlate with your Enneagram being a 9, right?
I would say you could typically see a 9 and a 2 follow the nurturer side of things. Not always, but they definitely have a correlation with that as well. You'll see some of the other correlations with other voices, I think, in the Enneagram as well.
So what is the weapon system? This is when you say trigger, this is when the unhealthy or the defense system comes up.
So like for a nurturer.
And I would imagine a pioneer is the one that probably sets off the nurturer the most.
Yes. What's funny though, I work with Luke at Covenant, and he's a pioneer, and we actually work great together. Somehow, I don't know what that is.
He likes your violin playing.
He likes the violin playing, and so
because then he doesn't have to play the violin.
Because I believe that a nurturer and a pioneer working in health together is really effective.
Absolutely.
Because there's a push and a pull.
I agree.
Because a pioneer wants to go so fast, and the nurturer says, no, we do that, we're going to go too slow, and then the pioneer pulls the nurturer off the violin and say, no, let's go do something. And so you need both those things. And so
whenever a nurturer feels like unheard, disrespected, unvalued, things like that can set off their weapon system. And their weapon system is a first aid kit. They actually withhold care whenever they are employing their weapon system. And so, something that they would normally speak into, someone they would really want to help normally, whenever they feel triggered, they're like, I'm not going to help you. I had somebody, a lady share that she was like, oh my gosh. She was like, my husband hasn't been telling me thank you for doing his clothes. She was like, I haven't washed his clothes in 2 weeks. And she just like had this, like, that is totally what I do, because she didn't feel appreciated. She didn't feel valued. And she was like, fine, I just won't do this thing for you that I've been doing. Not that Jason would ever do it, but it would be like if someone within our church or someone on staff had irritated him, and he would normally counsel them, provide them encouragement. He just might listen and smile and nod and not, respond with the general encouragement that he would.
A passive aggressive type.
That's probably yeah. That never happens in my home. Never at all. Never. And so, but we're just reading books, playing puzzles. So
why do we think that most of the population would be considered nurturers. Why do we think that? What would be an explanation for why so much of the population, 43%, falls into the nurturer basket?
I think partially because there is such a status quo. In a sense, a nurturer is a status quo. This is the person that's on the factory line just doing the work. They're okay, where a pioneer might be driven crazy by the day in, day out things being the same. Most people, this is teachers, nurses, people that they're just every day's the same. They're just doing this. They don't see the world change in the thing they're doing. They're just clocking in. That's most people in the world, right? And so that, I think, is the corollary there. Would you agree with that, Jamie?
Yeah, like when I did this at a local, can I say businesses?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll give it a shot.
So whenever I did this for Southern Roots staff, they're the dental hygienists, the largest majority of them, they're all nurturers because they're just doing the same thing day in and day out.
I don't want a pioneer touching my teeth.
Well, right.
Yeah,
I was like, what are you going to do? Get creative? Start engraving
I figured out a new way to do this.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I think that monotony. And so another part of these voices, you'll see that they're either present oriented or future oriented. Mm-hmm. And so a nurturer is present oriented. They are focused on what is happening right here, right now. Yep. It's not like, what am I going to do with my life in 2 years? They're like, right now I'm cleaning these teeth. Right now I'm counseling these people. Right now, this is what is going on. I see what is right in front of me, and I'm not like dreaming about the future or planning for the future. And I think that's where most people are. Most people don't like change.
The world is
and
run
I
by
love
nurturers.
change.
That's how the world functions by nurturers. Without that, not going to happen.
Yeah.
It just keeps society moving.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay.
All right. Tell us the next one.
All right, go ahead, Jamie. Creative.
All right. So creative is interesting. You see it's a little bit louder of a voice, but not very loud. They are different because they are very future oriented. They're always thinking about what is coming. So with a creative, there is no one that is a natural just creative. You're either a creative connector or a creative pioneer is how they are joined together. And so they are always like asking themselves, like, how can I help myself and others be the best that I can be? So your creative is always wanting things to be better, wanting people to be better, moving the ball forward. If, you don't have a creative on your team and you're wanting to continue to improve, you're missing out because they are great outside of the box thinkers. They love to create really cool environments. These are the people who celebrate others really well. And it's really neat how they are able to bring people together with their ideas. But they're, just a little bit more forward thinking than the nurturer. But they're not like gonna come out and like yell their opinions really loud. That's why you would want them to talk seconds on your team.
Creative, talk second.
Yes. Okay, so that I don't give the whole bag away, but it says creative pioneer here on the thing.
Yes. So you are a creative pioneer. That would make sense. And so, with a creative pioneer, you're willing to like move the ball forward a little bit more than a creative connector. A creative connector is going to see people more than they see a task.
See people.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that is that creative pioneer. So you've got that creative bent, but it's not creative towards the improvement of people. You're creative towards the improvement of ideas, which makes sense for why you're so good at what you do, right? They say that a creative pioneer is a champion of future ideas, which you are, and a champion of organizational integrity.
Well,
those are.
I mean, look at the podcast, right? It's going really well.
Yes.
Very systems oriented. Would you say you're systems oriented? Like you're really good at creating systems?
I see the world through systems.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so see how that kind of all just like fits in really well.
So connector creative and creative connector would be the same thing. It doesn't matter which one's first or second.
It does. It does matter.
Stronger? Okay.
No, yeah.
So if he's a creative pioneer, that's different than a pioneer creative.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would imagine the voice they might have the same lens they're looking through. It just the voice might be softer.
Well, I'll give you an example. Creative pioneer, even as we started this, the creative part of him has some pushback towards people being in 5 voices. Like, no, the world's full of a lot more colors than that, right? And so
don't label me, man. Don't box me in.
And so a pioneer creative would primarily see the system first, as opposed to that creative part first. And so that's where I would have guessed that about you too, because either pioneer creative or creative pioneer. And so
and it's not linked. So like if you're a pioneer creative, those aren't linked. Whereas a creative pioneer, that is linked. Like you can't just be a creative. Creative is always linked with pioneer or a connector. It's the only one that does that. And so that's why the voice order matters so much.
Creative is seeing a vision or seeing future. But if it's a creative connector, it's focusing more on people. Creative pioneer is focusing more on
the systems,
or the entity, organization.
Yeah. And they, would you say that you're a truth seeker? Like you want to see the truth in things. Like there is a truth. There is a.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would agree with that.
And that's what I just, even in your questioning at the beginning, that's
as in,
like you're really you're on a quest to find the truth.
Authenticity.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, there's so much that bundles up with that. But I think generally speaking, that's right.
Yeah. So we did fail to mention this. So each voice has a superpower as well as a weapon system. And so the superpower for a creative pioneer is innovation. And, that's a pretty cool, if you're going to put it on the back of your cape.
Oh, yeah. You need to get a badge.
Yes. What's the nurturer's superpower?
King innovator.
I want to be
apparently it wasn't very sexy. We didn't talk about it.
No, I forgot to mention it.
Physical touch.
No. Relational harmony.
Oh, yeah.
That's boring.
What?
So anyways.
That is his life.
Golly.
Relational harmony.
Yeah, definitely a peacemaker.
Yeah, for sure. Now, are you ready for what your weapon system is?
I'm thinking it's self-destruction, but go ahead.
No. So for a creative pioneer, the weapon system is what they call the sniper rifle. And so if you think about all the war movies you've seen, think about how the sniper, no one really knows they're there. No one's watching for them. They're really quiet. They're back in the distance, pretty far away from their.
I've played a lot of Halo. Yeah. These are all true.
They're pretty far away from their target, and they're just watching. And whenever they see the person that has hurt them, has upset them, has triggered them, they take one shot, and it's deadly. But it only takes out.
It's a sociopath.
Well, you're not taking shots, but if you think about it, and that's where I always warn people, when you first hear about your weapon system, a lot of times your tendency is, I would never do that. That's what I said about mine. I was like, that is the worst thing I've ever heard. I would never do that. I am a good person. And then a few days later, I'm like crying because I realized how much I actually employed that weapon system. Yeah. So right now you might be like, I would never do that. But think about a time that someone has really upset you. Right?
I can do it right now.
Oh, you can. There you go. See?
Why does my wife always get upset with me when I leave the light on? It's like, I feel like she's living the Great Depression. I mean, like what?
How much that really cost him?
This is what I'm saying. Like, look at our Amazon bill. Okay. Like I left the light on. All right.
Yeah. And the LED bulb probably is low.
That's right. It's low usage nowadays. Yeah. We got the technology. Is that sniping? I don't know.
Yes. So what happens is you are not the kind of person. Right. You are not the kind of person who's going to go into a situation and yell and scream and upset everybody in the room. You're not taking anybody else down. Yeah. But this person that upset you, you are going to make sure that they know that they upset you.
It's like a blood feud grudge kind of thing.
Yes.
And I'll remember it forever.
But it's that one person, and you're going to do something to them, not physically. You're not actually really bad. No, they really are when you think about it, even though the nurture, I think, is the sweetest one. Oh, I'm just not going to help you. Like, that is a really terrible thing for them because their natural tendency is to help everyone. And whenever they decide not to help someone, like, that's really ugly.
Yeah.
I feel like mine's the worst, but maybe not. You know, maybe it's just
Well, that was
Is-
also mine. So
is there an Enneagram correlation to creative?
it sounds
a
like
lot
a
of
four.
force.
Four.
Individualist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, none of those correlations are necessarily, you know, exact because obviously there's 9 Enneagram numbers and there's only 5 voices, but there is definitely
Yeah,
some.
because I remember in the Enneagram study, which reminds me of being the sniper, is like a 4 will remember like someone who embarrassed them in class 20 years ago when
Absolutely.
they were like in first grade, and they
Yes.
remember them and still can't stand them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Is it the Happy Gilmore scene or Billy Madison scene on the guys on the
Crossing people
couch?
off.
Yeah.
Crossing people off the list.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I think of when I think
Great
of you.
scene. Yeah.
But I think
He is the creative.
But that quiet sitting in the back and you're just like, this person is the person that
was
I
that
don't want.
what actor was that?
it was an actor.
Steve Buscemi.
Buscemi.
Oh yeah,
Buscemi?
yeah.
It was.
Buscemi.
Perfect for
Buscemi.
that.
And he puts the lipstick on
That's
and the
great.
music's
That's
playing.
great.
Yeah, what a great actor.
Yes. Part of this though is when you're in health. That's why you hear that like, well, I don't do that. Well, it's because you're a little healthier than you were 10 years ago. 10 years ago, that might have been more normal for you. Yeah. So
That's what I had to think about with mine, especially. And you know, if I'm being honest, I still do it and I catch myself doing it. And that's where the awareness of this is why I love this so much. It is the awareness that it has brought to my mind. And as soon as I do it, I feel this conviction of, oh my gosh, like I'm doing that again. I've got to stop. Right.
Yeah.
But if you go back to, you know, in high school and you really think about like how you reacted to people, maybe in your 20s, and you'll be able to come up with a lot more examples.
for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Next, Guardian,
Guardian. This is my second voice. I'm a
voice.
nurturer guardian.
and it's the second most popular.
Yes,
first
I'm
voice.
very basic, is what you're not surprised anybody can say, what's this podcast? These are the people that are going to do due diligence. They're the ones that are going to press the brakes on things. These also frustrate pioneers and connectors as well.
These are my least favorite.
Wow, here we go. And they bring a lot of clarity and health and organization. They're the ones you probably want looking over your finances, your books, those kind of things in a creative meeting. They could be a hindrance, possibly brainstorming, all those kind of things. They are scared of change almost. Yes. So
They have a relentless commitment to asking difficult questions. And that's why they are hard for me, is because I'm like, why are you asking all these questions? Like, let's just do the thing, you know? And, but they are essential. Like, if you don't have a guardian on your team, you're in really big trouble as an organization, because you have to have this person. I tell people all the time, if my husband wasn't a guardian, me and all my kids would probably be dead, because I don't think about those things. Right. And so as much as it drives me bonkers to have somebody ask me a million questions, it is essential, and it is really important for someone like me, who guardian is my lowest voice. I don't think about these things. I'm not going around being like, okay, are we safe, or is this a good choice, or what are, you know, like, let's go do the fun thing. Let's go, you know, be nice to people. Let's go. And so it is very, very essential to have these people on your team.
yeah, as a nurturer guardian, I don't ask questions about things. I ask questions about people. Mm-hmm. So when I'm working on a team and we're talking about a new initiative, I am the guardian of the people, is how it feels. Like, if we do this, this is going to affect Sheila and John and this person. And so,
Sorry, John.
Yeah,
It's always Sheila. By the way.
yes, it's always every time. Well, you know, back in the day, there's no Sheila back in the day.
Well, you don't want to think of a common name. John's probably bad because there's probably a John on the
Yeah,
team
he's like,
running
oh,
the
watch
church.
she's mad at me right now, but there's no Sheilas out there.
No, not anymore.
So where on your team this guardian comes into play is they are not focused on people, like Jason was saying. Like, if their primary voice is guardian, you know, they are not thinking about how this impacts people. They're not thinking about the bigger picture.
That's right.
You know, so that's why pioneer has a really hard time with a guardian, because the pioneer sees, you know, 10
whole
years
chessboard.
down the thing, and they see the whole picture, and the guardian is like, no, right now.
How do we make how do we make payroll on Friday?
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
There's no money in the bank. How are we making
Yes.
payroll?
Yes.
So can I jump in real quick, and I hate to steal the spotlight here, but my third voice is guardian. What is the third voice?
So that's just the power of the voice. So you're a what did we just establish? Creative pioneer guardian. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so that is just your, like, in your voice order. That is your third lowest voice. Right. So that's still pretty strong.
Or third highest.
Third highest. There you go. There you go. It's your middle one.
And that leads to part of your questioning nature of things sometimes too. Like, okay, well, how does this work? Was this for real? Those kind of things speak to your guardianness. And
it says it may be learned more than natural. Mm-hmm. Is that, you find that to be true on the third voice, or?
Yeah, a lot of times if a parent was really hard on you, they were perfectionists, you felt like you were never doing things right, struggles like that can lead you to question yourself, question others. Is this okay? Is this the right thing? It's a pretty frequent.
Yeah. That is a question I have on the these voices. Are these is it developed like the primal questions? Is it developed from your childhood experiences?
It's a bit of both. It's a bit of nature and nurture, I believe. I do think some of these can be inflamed through nurture, I guess you would say, through your past, especially the guardian voice. If you had grew up in an environment that was not stable, you're gonna seek security. If you're up in an environment, like you said, of being overly critical, you might become that way yourself. Those kind of things definitely can speak into that. And so that's just kind of your own personality. And so,
is the Enneagram corresponding to Guardian 1?
6.
I would say 1 and 6.
But 1, I could see a 1 too.
Okay.
Yep.
1 and 6.
But you know how a Enneagram 6, they have all the questions, all the fears, all the, is this okay? Is this safe? That part of it. And then the one part of it with all of the details, the
black and white, the
black and white.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I will say for businesses, the advice that I always give with the guardians is, sometimes they can get a bad rap. For a lot of business owners, an Enneagram 6, a 1, and, then you've got the guardian can be really hard on a forward-thinking entrepreneurial leader. Like, you're like, get away from me, right?
So they can on the flame.
Yes, they can get a bad rap with businesses, but they really are important, and you should pay attention to the warnings. But one of the things that we have learned with guardians on our staff and just in other business situations is that if you will let the guardian know of a big change in private, and before you are making it known to everyone, and you will allow them to process this new change in private, they will have a lot better reaction whenever it comes to the whole group meeting. And so one of the things, if we're going to ask a question, even if it's something that to me just seems so basic, right? Like in staff, we're going to say, like, what's God doing in your life? If we're going to ask that and expect everyone on our staff to go around and answer, I will text the guardians in our group a couple hours before staff meeting and say, just so you know, we're going to ask this question, and you give them time to think about it and process it, and they're going to have a great answer because they have great thoughts. But if you ask them on the spot, their defenses kind of flare up, and it comes across, their questioning and their doubt comes across very negatively, and like you said, just can like throw this wet blanket on what should not be a terrible discussion.
That's good.
But that time to process in private is key for a guardian.
I think the key with all these voices, and this is a business podcast, and I think primarily business owners, you're going to see a lot of pioneer connectors type that start businesses, is I don't think you let guardians drive the boat, but they have to feel valued. And you need that voice. So it's the balance of having them feel heard and valued without letting them take control and just bring things to a halt, because you can't do that in a business or any organization at all. And so, but you need the input to have health. And so
it's funny. There's a guardian that I have in one of my companies, and I just know that that's what this person is. But every time, like I try to hurry past them because I know, and if they say, hey, 1 second, and I'm just like, I don't want to hear it today. I'm good. Let's talk tomorrow. Because I know it's going to be, hey, there's a problem with this, or hey, there's this. And I'm like, well, you can go fix it. I don't need to know about it.
And there is some truth to that.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know what the limit is, but at some point, if an unhealthy guardian does not need unlimited access to bring out all their questions, I just don't think that's helpful. Mm-hmm. And so, you have to find the fine line there where they are in the organization and how they bring value. But because it is true that a guardian voice, it can bring the whole team down.
Yeah. What I like for someone like a guardian on the team is, hey, voice these concerns, but also bring what solutions you've already thought through might be.
Yeah.
Like, don't just impose your worry on other people for them to figure out.
Yes.
So some advice to business owners, 2 questions you can ask a guardian. I mean, if you're wanting to get their opinion or just wanting them to feel honored, but doing it in private beforehand, you can ask them, what are 3 questions that I should be asking? Right? So you're giving them a limit. Like you said, it's not endless questions. Like, tell me 3 questions that I should be asking. Didn't you say one time that like you went in after a break and you're like, we're going to move this office and we're going to do this.
Oh, yeah.
So before you're like, hey, on my break, I was thinking about moving this here. What are 3 questions I should be asking before I do that? And you give them that time to process. And then another one would be, what should I be thinking about? And that way you're not giving them too much power. You're not giving them the ability to, all right, tell me why I shouldn't do this, because they're gonna, or hey, what do you think about this? Those are like endless for them.
Yeah, it's funny. Because I've had guardians that they do step out of bounds.
Yes,
right. So
they employ their weapon system.
Yeah, so they'll go to a team is somebody that they have no authority over, that's in a different part of the company, and be like, hey, why are you in here drinking coffee? Why aren't you out there on the field doing some work? We need money.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It was like, wait, what's going on here?
Well, because what an unhealthy guardian can do is spill their anxiety over everybody. And their anxiety leads the anxiety to the whole team.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where, that's not helpful.
It's not
so
helpful.
the superpower, what would the word be?
Due diligence.
Due diligence. And the weapon is...
Ooh, you ready for that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so the weapon system for a guardian, this is what I tell guardians, is when they feel like they don't have a voice, right? It is like they are in the FBI and they have just captured a known terrorist and they put them in a dark room with a spotlight over their heads, maybe some waterboarding involved, and they just sit and pepper you with question after question after question after question, because interrogation is their weapon system.
Oh, okay.
And so they feel like they are just asking questions and they just want to hear your thoughts. But you feel like you are a terrorist murderer that, is on the verge of being killed for, your thought you just had. Wow. That's what they can make you feel like when they're employing their weapon system. And they don't realize they're doing that. They're like, I'm just asking some questions. But for me, especially, I'm like, what the heck, man? Like, what is happening here? Why are you asking so many questions? Yes. Why are you so scared? It can be something as simple as so I give this example when I share, like with my husband. Okay, let's say Leighton's like, hey, y'all want to go out to dinner? And I'll say, hey, Matt, you want to go out to dinner? Who's going? Where are we going? What time are we going? What are we going to eat? When are we coming home? Who's going to keep the kids? Who's, like those are all the questions. I don't think any of that. Leighton says, do you want to go out to dinner? I'm like, sure, that sounds fun. I don't think to ask a single question.
Jason, there's something on your face. What is it?
Matt's 1,000% right. Like there's 45 questions have to be answered to say yes to that. And so that is my nurture guardian coming out.
Yes, but to try to honor him, even though I don't think about any of those questions, I'm like, this sounds fun, let's go. I have learned to say, try to come up with some questions to ask so that when I go to him, I can say, hey, it's going to be Saturday night at this time. These are at least I have put some effort into finding answers to your questions, even though I don't have them. That's a way in relationship that you can kind of honor that.
Oh, okay. I like
there you go. There you go.
I like it.
The guardian.
Guardian, number 3.
A lot of time with the guardian.
Well,
A lot of time.
they're important. I really, if you don't have a guardian on your staff, it's a essential missing link,
Yes,
because they are the early warning system of
where you're bleeding out.
Yes.
They find
yes.
The holes
Yep.
that need to be filled. Yep. All right, connector.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes.
Yay!
This is me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
This is me.
Can I guess your order? Or do you want
Sure.
connector, pioneer,
No, not what am I? No.
connector, creative?
Yeah. Connector, creative pioneer.
Yep. Okay, I knew it was somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's both of us.
Yeah. So my average score, 11 plus 9 plus 7 divided by 3.
You have numbers.
What are you talking about?
Is your lowest nurturer or guardian?
Yeah.
So my average is 9% on the scale.
That
my
is so
lowest
weird. That is
what?
not any kind of
I'm just
math that
joking.
exists. Okay. Are you just trying to make yourself sound smart with
These
math?
numbers. I don't
I'm
think
trying
you're
to
doing the
impress
right
Jason.
thing with these.
I'm trying to
No,
impress
'cause that's
Jason.
100%.
With the numbers thing?
I'll just check it.
Yes.
What? I'm just saying, if you took that combination, we'd be 9% of
You're
the
saying you're
population.
you're really special. What you're trying to say.
We are very special. Leighton, what Jason said, would you assume that you're the lowest voice is a guardian or a nurturer? Because like for me, I don't ask questions about any of the things.
I would
so
say,
I know guardian is
I would think
lowest.
yours is guardian lowest. I think yours would be nurturer lowest.
Yeah.
Because you do ask some questions.
Yeah.
He has more questions than I do.
Yes.
For sure.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
I didn't pay to have the full report. Just checking out.
Very guardian of you.
Usually the guest the last two. All right. So connector.
Connector, essential for any kind of business, sales, starting anything up like that. It's essential because the connector brings in people. They connect with people. They are the ones that they naturally have 100 friends and they have no idea how they have 100 friends. They go into a room and they gravitate towards people. People come towards them. People energize them. What else, Jamie?
Yeah, for a business, they are the champions of internal collaboration. Why isn't everybody working together? Why doesn't everybody love each other? Like, let's just work together. Very effective communicators. This is my idea. They're able to bring people into the things that they have a heart for, because that's what they do. They bring people in, and then they're able to communicate. And so they communicate and get people, on fire for whatever it is that they are excited about. They are considered like the Tigger of the organization, like bouncing around, like, woo, like this is so fun. Like, I love this. They are also the I have a guy people, right? And so how many times do we?
Yes. Then we all joke about this. Like, oh, Leighton has a guy.
Yeah, all the time.
Got a dog I need to kill. Leighton has
Because
a guy.
your relational network is so big that you're like, oh yeah, I know somebody, or oh yeah, I can connect you. And so I know Leighton and I, we get questions all the time from random people, random places. Hey, do you know anybody who can help with this? Do you know anybody who can help with this? I mean, Leighton, pretty much every time we're like, yeah, we
know
can
the
connect you to someone.
This was an easy guess for I
Yes.
think all of us, right?
What's funny about a nurturer, or this could be my experience, I love to tag on the hip of a connector because I don't like going into a space by myself.
You're a good wingman.
Yes, I'm a good wingman. And because the connector opens the room up and helps the nurturer feel safe as they connected to people. And so
And when I'm done with the conversation, I'll be like, hey, have you met my buddy Jason? I got to go on to the next thing.
how are you doing? How are your parents?
So
we have a capacity for a large number of relationships, whereas Jason is like, what? Like, how do you know all these people? Or I've seen both of our kids do this. We go in somewhere and they're like, how do you know someone everywhere we go?
Yeah. So
It's incredible.
I'm looking at Chris's profile, one of my managers, important person in my organization. He is the exact same thing as me.
That's fascinating.
Connector, creative pioneer.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's y'all get along really well too,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
because his voice makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so this can be typically an Enneagram 7. You'll see this a lot in their personalities that they tend to just love people. Let's go. Let's do it. That whole kind of thing. And so.
And a 2, that loves people. And so that's where that second voice kind of comes into play is, what is your next thing? Because sevens love the fun and people are involved in the fun. A 2 loves people, for different ways and different reasons.
What is the superpower for a connector?
Okay, the superpower for a connector is relational networks. Like that is what they are known for and really good at. Is that relational network. It also helps, with I fundraise for a living.
Yep.
And so, they're always amazed at how I can fundraise, but it's because I truly love people and I have all these connections. Yep. And I can tend to voice what I'm fundraising for in a way that gets people to believe in that and give.
So when I was in real estate sales, my whole system of creating business was through relationships. I made this kind of vow to not pay for leads and not cold call. I cold called one time. It was horrible. And so, but my tool, and I still tell my agents to do this, was to create a massive database of people that could do things, right? So your plumbers, your electricians, whatever. And then you tell your people, hey, when you have a problem, call me because I have somebody.
That's good.
Right. And I haven't been doing sales for 3 years now, and I still get phone calls, hey, I need somebody for this from my database.
Yep.
So anyways.
Connectors, I don't know how you start anything without connectors because connectors get people. And, I'm amazed by connectors because their tank is always full. It seems like maybe it's not, but the energy level of a connector is just it goes and goes and goes and goes, and so. And
it's exhausting for Jason to look
at. It is. I need a nap.
So business-wise, we talked about this. Hannah at Priority Roofing, she is a connector. And then at Southern Roots, we found that all of their receptionists are connectors. And that's a great business model because with Hannah, what they say is when people get off the phone with me for making an appointment, we feel like we're friends. And of course you want to call that business. Of course you want to deal with them. Of course you want that face to be the one that you walk in and see. I mean, if you put a guardian answering your phone calls from people, there's probably going to be some conflict.
Yeah.
And so, knowing what people's voice is a big deal. You want people to get off the phone that have called to complain or called to make an appointment or called to just see who you are. Hannah's selling, you want them to feel like that is my new best friend. I love her so much,
Yep.
I love it. So
what's the weapon?
Yeah.
Ooh, this is the worst.
What did you have, Josh, before we get to the bad part?
Well, I was going to say, this is a kind of an interesting idea about connectors. But so back in our band days, the bands that were successful usually had one of these guys in there. They may not have been the best musician. They may not have contributed the most to what was happening creatively. But the bands that were kind of taken off out of the stack of 5 million out there had one of these on there. And we did too, because you needed all those little networks and all those little towns.
You did ends
to spread what you were doing. And we absolutely did. And I noticed bands that just had a bunch of creatives, they couldn't get out of their living room.
Yeah.
It's they were making amazing stuff, but it's who's going to book the show?
Yep.
They didn't even have it.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing that you don't think about it, but you need that person. And it's sales, it's organizational stuff.
Yep.
You got to have them. They're huge.
Yeah. That's why I would encourage businesses to do the 5 voices test, whenever you're looking to hire and to make sure you have all of these voices because they all matter in some way. Imagine a band going and after you're done, because you're all kind of reclusive. Yeah. You don't talk to anybody. You don't build up your fans. You don't build relationships.
Exactly. Yeah,
you don't want to be on social media.
Yeah.
100%. Stay away.
Right, so
nobody's going to listen to you.
We're going to start a band called 5 Voices.
Okay. Nurturer.
We're going to have each person in there will have a different voice.
A different voice.
Yes.
I think that's
and sing a different harmony.
Yeah.
Well, the question would be what are they playing each voice?
Yeah,
creatives probably the lead, right?
Well, would you say I don't know the acapella.
We're not a cappella group. We're not a band. we got to know this down.
Oh, you're saying?
I'm saying we're a band.
We're a band. Oh,
yes.
what are they
Jason's
playing?
always wanted to be in a band. You have to make his dreams come true.
Okay. Yeah.
It's time.
It's time.
He's the track.
The connector has to be the front
keeping it all
man.
together.
The connector has to be the front man, right?
As a guy, well, yeah, of course.
The hype guy.
You as a connector would say
guy.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little vein over there. Like, oh, look at me.
Yeah, the
connector.
I think Flavor Flav is a connector.
Flavor Flav.
But he's off like to the side,
Eating
just
his
doing
cane.
his thing.
So
Yeah.
nurturer probably on the keys.
Well, violin, obviously.
I love it.
Oh my
We are
gosh! All right,
going
so let's go. Let's go into this defense.
Okay.
Weapons.
So this is the one that whenever I had to accept this reality in my life, I cried a lot because it makes me really sad. So a connector, they are so nice and love people so much that they would never take anybody out directly, right? And so when a connector is triggered, upset, offended, whatever, you're not going to go and yell at somebody. You're not going to go cuss them out. You're not going to go do any of those things because you want to protect your relationships. You want to protect your image. You want to protect all of those things. And so their weapon system is what they call cyber warfare. It is where you are going to go behind the scenes and you are going to make these little comments that undermine the way that someone feels about that person that you think is going to hurt you. Because whenever they go and complain about you or when they go, you want the person who is receiving that complaint about you or that thought about you to not really fully believe or trust or like the person. So it's all these like behind the scenes comments. A lot of joking, a lot of, because you're not going to do it in a mean way, but you do kind of manipulate the messaging of how people are hearing things to ensure that your reputation is not the one that is hurt.
I knew I should have been a politician.
Well, no,
I knew
that's
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Yeah. Maybe I will. Maybe that's my next career.
Yeah. And so what was hard for me is one, I did not realize that's what I was doing. And when I had to admit that that is what I was doing, like it just made me feel really gross. And so now I'm much more conscious of it and to realize how much it undermines my influence with people, right? Because if I'm doing that about somebody else, then maybe I'm doing that about you too, which means I'm losing influence, which is the opposite of what my goal is in life. So it's just really gross to me and really hard.
Yeah, connectors, not so great now, are you?
At least we're not just playing the violin while the ship sinks.
Well, you know what?
Connector.
Good for them.
Okay, so the connector, though, you were saying that the creative is either a creative connector or creative pioneer.
Yes.
But a connector is just a connector.
A connector is just a connector. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, pioneer.
Pioneer. They're the starters. They take new land. They go first. They, very much a leadership type quality, being a pioneer. A lot of entrepreneurs have that pioneer in them. Sometimes they can go so fast that they go by themselves. That could be a real problem. But nothing is done if we don't have pioneers because they take the new ground. And so, yeah.
They solve problems for fun. So whereas other people are like, oh gosh, don't give me that problem. Like if you have a problem that you're wanting to think through the details of, go to a pioneer. Like they think that is so much fun to sit down and problem solve because that is what they are. They love to problem solve. They are definitely the loudest voice in the room, which doesn't mean I speak the loudest. It is the most forceful voice in the room. And so, there are people that I've met that are pioneers and they're these really sweet women who have these really sweet voices. But when they speak and that some of the things that they say are so forceful and so just like, this is it, that it shuts down the room. And they don't realize that's what they're doing because it's this really sweet, womanly voice. But the power that their voice has is pretty amazing.
So 7% of the population is pioneer. However, in the CrossFit community, it's probably 85%.
Probably so,
pioneers.
yes. Watch how we do it. Look at us. Yes, for sure.
If you're not doing it, you're losing.
That's how we feel in the CrossFit community. So,
but they're really good at aligning people, right? That's across, getting people to do things. They have anything is possible. Like we can do anything. Forge the future. New path.
That powerful voice, like, that's rough. Well, that voice is needed.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we have to, we talked about it. Let's go. And that's what a leader does most times. And when you're a pioneer voice, it's just easier to do that. Mm-hmm. And I've seen this on our team. Like I said, Luke is a pioneer, and there's times we're talking about things for 30 minutes, and someone needs to make a decision, and he says, "Okay, this is what we're doing," and it's a needed voice. Now, sometimes that voice, if it comes too early in a discussion, can be unhelpful. Because everybody stops. It's okay. Well, we're not going to say anything now because this has been decided on, and so it's how you wield that voice is what's important.
Yeah, they want to win at all costs. Whatever their version of winning is, and so they don't give up easily, which is also a needed thing.
I want to win too, though, as a nurturer. So I'll push back on that. But whatever.
But you'll push to win where it's still okay for people. A pioneer is not gonna just stop pushing to win.
You have not seen me and Leighton play basketball at 20 years old in Ruston. So that's all I'm going to say.
Well, I would say there's a quote that I've mentioned on here before, but everybody wants to win, but who refuses to lose, right?
Yes.
And that's the pioneers. It's like we're going to settle the land no matter what.
No matter what.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
But that's the way that they have this strategic thinking, is their superpower, that strategic vision. And so because they have that, they really are good at aligning people, aligning systems, and aligning resources to get to that end goal. And that's why they are so good at leadership and, entrepreneurial endeavors.
Cool.
Yeah, if not, they're just a jerk with a loud voice. Yeah. Right? This is because pioneers, both of y'all second voice. Is that right?
Third.
My second. Yeah.
Okay. Because I see both that in y'all, and the ability to kind of see the big picture and take folks there, and so it's essential.
And what's the weapon?
So the weapon system for a pioneer is a grenade launcher. So
dude, you have a sniper rifle and a grenade launcher.
You would kill Halo.
Awesome at Halo.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man. Congratulations. Yeah, man. That's a big honor.
It really is.
That you carry around every day.
Big pockets.
So the grenade launcher. This is a hard one for pioneers to see that they have or that they employ, because what you're doing, if you think about how a grenade works, you've got this thing in your possession, and when you throw it, think about when somebody in a movie throws a grenade, right? Like they throw the grenade and then they just take off running, like they leave the scene, right? They don't look back. They just take off. And so when a pioneer throws the grenade, they throw the grenade. Everyone else around sees it hit. They see the impact, they see the hole that is left, and they see all of the shrapnel that is left behind. But the pioneer is gone and they don't look back. They have no idea the destruction that they've caused, right? And so that's where having this awareness for a pioneer of when their weapon system has been triggered and when they've actually employed their weapon is really, really important. And what I encourage pioneers to do is after you say something, like take a look at the faces and the body language of the people in the room, because it really will help you to see the impact of the words you just said. Because it's not like they're like losing. Now you see the little red tip at the top of the pioneer's voice, right? So some of them, it is really, really harsh and it can be really, really ugly, right? But sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's the way they shut down a conversation. Sometimes it's the way that they just make a little passive comment that doesn't seem like a big deal to them. Or what I hear a lot of pioneers say, well, I just said something that was true. Just because it's true doesn't mean it's helpful, doesn't mean it's kind, doesn't mean it's loving, right? Yep. And so if you can just look back and be like, okay, I just shut everyone in this room down. I just like this person, like a nurturer, like will totally fold in on themselves. Like you'll see their body posture change. But the pioneer isn't looking for that. And so the healthier you get, the more you see the impact of your words.
Yeah, I'm writing down just because it's true doesn't mean it's helpful.
That's just a life, maybe marriage.
Yeah.
But I find myself saying that to pioneers more than anybody else.
For sure.
Yeah.
So where do they fit? I mean, can they function on a team? And I guess if they're healthy, they can function on a team without being the leader.
Yes, I think it helps that if they have I'll use a church for an example. If they are a student minister under a pastor, because they have their own little siloed way they can kind of live out that gifting, as opposed to just being an assistant. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Because it helps them to, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It helps them to have some ability to kind of like to lead out without being kind of shackled. And so it's how you have them in your organization, I think, set up.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it.
I like it. 5 voices.
5 voices.
Yep.
Are you going to have some of your team do it?
I think I will.
I will too.
Well, it's free.
Are you going to let them pay? You're not going to let them pay.
No.
So it's 3 voices for your team.
It's free voices.
Yes.
That's right.
Free.
So when is
free
the
voices.
next band practice for 5 Voices, the band?
Yeah. Well, we need to recruit some more people.
When you say that, does that mean I'm out?
I'm a connector. I need
He's
to get more
the
people.
connector. That's right.
Okay.
We might be 15 voices by the time this is over. Hey, so on the paid, I can't remember. You just get your top voice if you don't pay, or you top
Usually,
3.
sometimes it depends on
You got your top 3.
I got
if you don't
3,
pay?
man.
Yeah.
I got 3.
Okay.
some,
there you go.
some, and then
Nice.
some. It's just one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good deal.
Yes.
That's it. Any last words? We need to. Oh, we got to do sponsors.
We're going to do sponsors.
Yeah. Why don't we can? I gave a short shout out for y'all's endeavors, but another one, Covenant Church. If you don't have a church to go to,
Covenant Church. We're in Bossier City. We have a building now
building.
On Benton Road.
Yes.
Meet every Sunday at 9:11 a.m.
yes.
Man, God's doing incredible things in our church. Come check us out. You'll see Leighton and his son playing some music, and it'll be a great time.
Yep. And then your counseling services.
Yes. I love to help people. And so if you need some help, let me know.
Reach out to you.
Reach out to me at, there's an email somewhere.
It'll be in the show
below,
notes.
the link
Like and
below.
subscribe. John, will you add that later in the show notes? Thank you.
I feel like I need to get you a big head sign that's just like this John person that was made up, and you can look at them.
Yeah. Jamie, you like to go and help organizations walk through this.
I do.
And so if there's an organization that is thinking, and by the way, I need to connect you with one that I know would be all about this. But when you're thinking of, walking through this, I think what's great for having someone come from the outside in, right? It's someone they don't normally hear. There's this aspect of authority, right? If I bring this to the team, they're like, oh, Leighton's just read another book. Here we go. Another thing we got to do. So anyways, and then it also kind of just puts like this 1 hour or 2 hours. We're just going to focus on this one thing, eliminate distractions. And so you do that. You've done that for schools, churches, businesses.
And I think it's even powerful, like the ones that I've done 5 voices with, like we already, like at that event, we tell them, hey, she's coming back to do a follow-up, 6 months from now. And so we already have like the next thing on the books. And the teams are like, oh, like this is why. And I think bringing in that outside voice is helpful because I'm able to say, hey, don't bring this to Leighton. Like you guardians, like don't go to Leighton with a million questions. You're going to drive him nuts. Like pare down your questions in advance and have some, alternate ideas, some solutions for your concerns. And so saying that you can seem like a jerk, but if I come in and say that, they're like, oh, okay, that's why you get mad at me when I interrupt you or, and then I come to you with a million questions.
Yeah, I don't think there's many things. I'm going to pump Jamie up real quick that you can bring us over 2 hours and help transform the culture of your team in 2 hours. So to me, it'd be a no-brainer to have her come help out your team and say things you can't say, like you just said. And so, absolutely,
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I need to have you schedule it at my businesses.
Be great.
So,
Love that.
Yep. All right. Another sponsor for us, we have Priority Roofing, locally owned. We already gave Hannah a shout out.
Yes.
Hannah and Shay, great people, specialize in residential and commercial roofing, repairs, replacements, small jobs, big jobs. They've helped so many people in our community.
Including me.
Including you.
Yes.
Yes. A proud Priority Roof owner.
Yes, great job. So easy. So simple with him. Seriously, it was great.
Yeah. 318-202-2123 or check them out, PriorityRoofingLLC.com. Then we have Plumber for Hire, locally owned plumbing company. Have y'all used Plumber for Hire?
Our church has, yes, definitely.
Okay.
And
Good.
we have personally,
Okay.
it's great.
All right.
I've saved our church multiple times already in a few months.
Yes. They like to use the bathroom there.
And lots of toilet paper in those kids' bathrooms. Shoved down the hole.
Very
At our building.
Not
Old
the guardians
system.
in the kids ministry.
Hey, threaten them. Take it to that one ply. Hey guys, y'all keep wasting this good toilet paper.
I use that too.
Wait, did you hear about the church that did that as a missions fundraiser? They took all the toilet paper away from the youth at an event, and you had to pay to get the toilet paper back. And that was their missions.
Yeah,
We just washed
that'd be
cars
dangerous.
when I was in youth.
Yeah.
That was a little
Wash
I was like, whoa, that's kind of intense.
Because I feel like the youth would be like, okay, well, I just don't need it.
I know. That's what I worry about. Middle school boys for sure.
Yes. All right. So Plumber for Hire, use them. They're great. 318-709-9090. And then Clint Davis Counseling, we're in here. Jason works under that umbrella as well. Helping people make lasting internal change for external growth and success. 318-562-6903.
We have Ivy's Building Materials, 3 locations, Mansfield, Halton, and Blanchard. Started in 1969, locally owned and operated, home center format. So we're a hardware store, also a pro lumber yard. If you want to build a house, if you want to come in and fix a faucet, we can handle all that stuff. We're installing doors and windows. We're having quite a few bites on installed doors and windows. So if you want to replace those in your home, give us a call. We can help you with it. We're also installing water heaters. So give us a call on that as well. IVLumber.com, IVEYLumber.com.
Yes. To do a deeper dive into the 5 voices, is that they have a book? Or would it just be the assessment and read your report?
There are books. Yes, they have a 5 Voices book. I do not find that as helpful as they have a podcast that's great and stuff like that. But they have an online training, and that is where I find things the most helpful is the online training.
Cool. Awesome.
Good.
Great episode.
Yes.
I learned a lot
stuff.
today.
Well, that's good. It's always fun to be. I missed you guys. I missed you
It
guys.
has been, yes. You were a guest of the year, season 1, I think.
Holly.
Where did
We
you put
actually
your
wanted
trophy? Did you put it in your
I don't know
office?
if that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
It's like marriage, that honor, kids. And so, I love you, Tracy.
Poor
Kids, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Get back to your puzzle. Yep.
Was it time to get back to our game now?
That's
Yes. Yeah. Clar is ready.
right. All right.
Let's go, Naka.
Thank you
All right.
guys.
See you guys.
Bye.